lucky ones. But given the theme of this conversation, it may surprise people on the call to hear that my formative experiences around impact weren't really for a love of nature, but more what we say nature adjacent. So as a kid, I thought I was going to be a doctor because I sincerely wanted to help people. Before my first year of university, I was fortunate enough to work in a rural hospital in South India. It was long days. I do intakes of patients in the morning. I drew blood, did lab work in the afternoons, and helped wherever I could in the evenings, often spending my nights in the wards that were overcrowded with children who sometimes didn't wake up in the morning. I was 17 years old, had this amazing, impactful experience, and knew I wanted to help people in places like this internationally. I went on to university and I meandered a little bit. I started in pre-med, but then I went to philosophy, religious studies, and I ended up in ecology, not necessarily because I wanted to do ecology, but it was a place that I could land. And I remember distinctly my last semester at McGill University, as you mentioned, Laurie, being terrified at the prospect of graduating. I was about to get a degree that I didn't really know about. The options were either a job or grad school, when all of a sudden, like an angel in a lab coat, a PhD student walked in looking for a research assistant to spend 4 months with her and a team. And I didn't even wait to hear about the project before raising my hand, more as an excuse to delay a decision to become an adult than the project itself. But that project turned into what I call one of the happy accidents of my life. Those things that you don't know what's going to happen until they do, and then they change the course of what you end up doing. The project was in southern Portugal, and I was looking at seahorse behavior. So I spent 8 hours a day underwater with these magical creatures. And this is where I started to get a little bit of a connection to nature, because I'm not sure if you're aware, but seahorses are amazing, amazing creatures. And to be honest, and only half jokingly, I thought before I went there that they were mythical, like unicorns or something like that, only found in children's books, but they're real. And I got to spend 8 hours a day underwater with them. And the cool thing about seahorses is they're upright swimmers, they're skeletal, they look really funny, but they're also monogamous. And they meet with the same partner every day, and they have a courtship ritual, which I got to watch underwater. Every day they get more and more elaborate until one day they rise in the water column, and they do this spiral dance where the female deposits her eggs into the male. And the male is the only family of animals that we know of in the world where the male carries fertilized eggs and gives live birth to baby seahorses. But the 8 hours a day I wasn't underwater, I was with the community in coastal Portugal. And I would talk to them, and it was about the people. So I talked to them about food, about culture, about fish, about their kids, about all of the things that were important to them. And there's a quote I saw recently yesterday from Steve Jobs, I think, which is, you can't connect the dots looking forward, you can only connect them looking backwards. And looking backwards, I would say that talking with the communities made me realize how dependent they were on the ocean and nature, and kind of the seahorses, but the seahorses were a representation of that health. Without healthy seahorses, there wasn't healthy coast, there wasn't healthy water, there wasn't healthy ocean, there wasn't healthy communities. So that notion of me wanting to help people ended up manifesting in helping nature. And not like a doctor where you help one individual at a time, but when you help nature, you can help families, you can help communities, you can help society, and ultimately the future of humanity on this planet. And that's what I've spent every day of my professional career doing.